Okay, let's take a look at some little more advanced control using the HMI. Okay, so we want to create and schedule the following function block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a function block called heater, I guess, called heat, and it would be unconditionally scheduled. Now, what would the ladder logic look like inside of this? So we're going to turn on some heaters if conditions are met. And so I guess we can just go ahead and use some global tags in here, and that way we won't get any local tags. So we might have the safety relay contact, which would be input 1 is met. A preheat temperature is at least 400 degrees. So what we would use is a greater than. And that might be input 2, and that input 2 would be greater than 400. Okay, so if that was met and then that was met, we would have a heater turning on. Let's say that would be hooked to Q1. So if I was doing my I/O, in here I would have some type of a safety relay contact, and then I would have input 2, which this would be an analog temperature sensor. So in here, this would be some type of a temperature sensor. I'll depict it as this, but it's actually an analog temperature sensor bringing in a value. And then it looks like this was input 1 and input 2, and then output was Q1. A second heater will come on if preheat temperature is also met. I guess that they just want another one like this, Q2. And then it would exist like this. We use global tags inside of this, and we unconditionally scheduled it. It created a DB, but we didn't use any local tags, so in this case, it wasn't too critical. Okay. On the next one here, we are going to use some local tags. So now we're going to use a function block in an HMI. Okay. So once again, I'm going to create my function block called heat. I'm going to unconditionally schedule it. And once again, the safety relay is closed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix up global and local tags because we can. So input 1, which was the safety relay, and we want to say that the greater than, and then we're going to take input 2, which is an analog input again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use a local tag here. We call this local tag set1. So that's a local tag. And then what this is going to turn on Q1. And just to be a little messy here, this is global, 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 local. Why don't we just turn on the local HMI light 1. Okay, HMI light 1, and that's going to be a global or local. Okay. And then it says a second one will come on of a different preheat. So I don't know. I'm guessing the safety relay is on still. And then we'll do another greater than. And let's call this input 3 is greater than set point 2. So that's global. There's another local tag. That's another global tag. And then we're going to turn on I guess we get a little crazy here. We could call this real out. Okay, and that's local. So when we schedule this, these globals don't show up on the scheduling. We get the locals, which is set 1, set 2, and that's what and then our outputs are going to be HMI light 1 and real output. Okay, and so what would these go to? Well, these would go to in this case sorry, we're going to pull these off the HMI. We're going to pull this off the HMI. This real output here, we're going to put this to Q2. So we're really getting crazy here. We're using some globals and some locals to understand how this works. You wouldn't necessarily do it that way, but you could. So on my input module, I would have safety relay, and I would have, once again, it'd be an analog in, but I'll just put a temperature sensor there to give you the idea of it. Input 1, input 2, input 3. On my output, I would have Q1, and Q2. Those would be mine. So now the HMI is going to look like this. We put in a data field, and we're going to enter like a value of 400 on that one. Maybe the second heater needs to get up to 800. Okay, and then this is a light. Okay, so the 400, we're going to call this. We're going to reach into the data block once this gets scheduled, and we're going to pull out set 1 and associate this with set 1. So when I get set 1, 400 gets pushed into that local tag, and you'll see it populate over here. It'll say 400, and then that will be compared against input 2, which is real. This is set 2, and then we had HMI light 1, which rather than using the M-bit, we used a local tag to come in and examine the condition here and return it there. So this is kind of mixing up local, global tags and a variety of different scheduling with a function block reaching into the HMI.